be serious. It's only those who are really vitally serious can live properly, can live a life that's complete and whole. And that seriousness doesn't exclude joy. Enjoyment. But as long as there is fear, one cannot possibly be serious or enjoy or know what it means to have great joy. And fear seems to be one of the most common things in life. And strangely, we have accepted it as a way of life. As we have accepted violence in all its various forms as a way of life, we have also accepted and have got used to being psychologically as well as physically afraid. And this evening, if we can, we should go into this question. We should, I feel, go into it so completely that we understand it so fully that when we leave the hall or this place, we shall be rid of this fear. I think it can be done.
The 103rd Street boys were all old-timers. Thin, sallow faces, bitter, twisted mouths, stiff-fingered, stylized gestures. There's a junk gesture that marks the junkie like the limp wrist marks the fag. The hand swings out from the elbow, stiff-fingered, palm up. They were of various nationalities and physical types, but they all looked alike somehow. They all looked like junk. There was Irish, George the Greek, Head-upon Rose, Louis the Bellhop, Eric the Fag, Eagle, the Sailor, and Joe the Max. Several of them are dead now, others are doing time. There are no more junkies at 103rd and Broadway waiting for the connection.
Cheers to Synthetic Friday on this lovely Thursday before Easter holiday retail trading team. This is Mastro coming to you live from Puppet Show Central with your routine briefing. So we're going to begin today's video by jumping right into the warm-up, see what we got going here, and see what tradable opportunities are before us today. So this document is available in the description. It is currently ready for this session, with all the overnight homework and IB insights, IB being initial balance. And yeah, so this will change likely throughout the day, especially TPO. I'm watching this TPO super closely as the day develops. We don't really have anything going on quite yet. You're seeing, so just to pop to the execution chart real quick here, we did get what I would consider a near A plus setup, a very strong fake break between that overnight low, prior day low rather, where we pierced it, popped back above. You saw that nice V reversal, that speed regression away from edges as we accepted back into value, and I got in at about 41.02. Looking to take first off at that POC here at about 41.1725. Excuse me, and we will see what happens. So like I said, not really too much going on. The IBR, again, pretty darn narrow, 15 points. I would say one interesting thing that has occurred, and I think lends to the bull case pretty nicely, is you saw for that first 30 minutes, that open test drive, where it looked like the bears were going to try to break a little lower. With that fake break, the bulls did unwind that, and so the assumption is that we spend the rest of the day auctioning in the opposite direction. So if you want to read more about these opens, go ahead and click on that LinkedIn post, and you can read more about these different opens. So what we're looking at today, open test drive. So we'll see if that holds. Like I said, because we saw that kind of get unwound, what tends to happen is we tend to auction in the opposite direction of the open test drive. So again, lending to the bull case today. So just one thing to point out from the warm up there. Finally, you can see our levels. Levels I think are important are in bold. So I used to say that the barb levels are the only ones in bold. Yet it was brought to my attention that it makes a lot more sense to actually bold the important levels. So it's more visually appealing and useful to the people who just click on it. So there you are. Bold levels are the most important levels for today. 4100, no surprise. 4125 kind of being that extension beyond the POC if we get there. And 4117 is kind of that POC level. So we'll see what happens there. That is the warm up. And we'll jump right into the price action now and see what we got going on. So macro look, kind of the same thing. Not even kind of the same thing. Same insights as yesterday. In fact, I haven't touched this particular chart at all. So we're still looking to see if we do get that gap cleanup. Again, that would be a pretty significant move within current volatility conditions. So we'd really need to see that extension to the downside there to go after those gaps, that 50 SMA, etc. Really, what I'm watching is how do we behave between on the ES chart, that 4100. SPX 4100 obviously, and do we go back up and confront that trend line? So just to zoom in, really I think for today the range is obviously 4100. We start to lose it, then that kind of lends itself to the possibility of a bear trend opening up, especially with what I think is a very nice fake break here. So you see that unwound, maybe we do start looking lower. So that 4100 area, SPY low a day, easy enough. And then as we do, if we do get through 4117, start to accept above that 4125 area again, we have one more level at 4135. So let's look at this on the TPO chart actually. We'll go back to this. So we're gonna go here. So my opinion, once we get through that 17 area, you can see there's a naked POC at about 15. But for me, that major area is 17. Once we accept 17, we'll set our sights toward 25. And once we accept above 25, I expect us to pop into this cluster of MGI pretty quickly. So we'll say 33 to about 43. In fact, let's make that a zone in our warm up here. So we'll say 35 to 45 is going to be kind of that, I think, decent resistance cluster. And if we do pop above that, I think we're kind of off to the races, and we go to retest this island reversal value area near the top there. So 65 kind of being the most important level there. So really not much is going on right now. We're bouncing off 4100 again for now. It seems that the bulls are petering out as I speak. You're seeing some more bearish action come in here. So we'll see if the bulls are able to hold steady here, or if we resume that downtrend. Like I said, that open test drive, when they get unwound, it tends to go the other way. But as we know from the past couple weeks, the market has not been cooperative during the RTH session, to say the least, for the standard trades. So um, I hope that I was not on this chart the entire time, but in case I was, let's go back again, just review real quick, looking at starting with the TPO. So first level is going to be that 4117. You see that naked POC. Again, I think 17 is most important because that's where the POC is for the volume profiles that I've drawn. And then finally, not finally, and then next stop is this resistance cluster from like 35 to 45, and then we start to look toward that island reversal value area, I believe that's what they're called. This red box here, with 65 being the most important point there. So looking at the macro, because I don't think I was sharing this chart, so we'll try it once more. I'm watching just kind of the low of day on the SPY. I'm watching this zone here, which corresponds to the levels we just talked about. And then obviously if we start to confront that trend line on the upside, that's where it gets interesting, looking for that bull breakout for that continuation of this potential inverse head and shoulders we got going here higher. So I'm not really focusing too much on that, by the way, because this is just such a mess. Yes, you could say this is an inverse head and shoulders, but I'm sure somebody else could come back with, oh, well, maybe this whole thing is a normal head and shoulders. So when it's super choppy and unclear like that, I don't really talk too much about chart patterns. So I'm sure you've heard that somewhere else. You've probably heard both sides of that story, and that's why I'm not talking about it. So yeah, so low of day on SPY, that entire zone that we talked about, which is that outside bar candle discussed yesterday, and then obviously as we start to break down, watching that 50 SMA level and gap on the SPY. So just to review, that level is 407.24, and then if the bulls or the bears rather get really feisty, 401.35 to 401.60 on the SPY. So that's that macro outlook. If we want to go check out volatility now, as we continue to retrace that little fake break move so far. Let me just zoom in here. See what we got going on here. Bears getting a little aggressive and unwinding. Let me see where that level. So if you're intraday here, I don't really want to see this get much below 4105. Go to my execution chart real quick. Yeah, we definitely want to hold here, so I'm going to go to the execution chart on the screen because we're getting some action. And this is a good teachable moment, I'll say. So I'm watching, this is a delta block, this is delta by price, this is ask volume minus bid volume. So you can see the shorts are kind of piling in around the POC here. I do not want to see us get below 105. Why do I say that? Because then these guys kind of start to win, and you might get some momentum to the downside. Whereas if bulls can pop us back up here, you might see some of the weak-handed participants in this block start to cover their positions, which will send us back up. We don't really have anything too major to the upside, so you're not like you have a minor amount of buyers here in that 4111 area, but really what's going on around this POC I think is going to dictate how this thing goes. So fingers crossed again that the fake break works. Really was a high quality one, and yeah, we'll see. So back to the briefing. We'll look at volatility, which is probably not doing anything last I checked. Yep, still just kind of basing to slowly downtrending. Again, not really much on this chart. I have not been too focused on this for a few weeks now, just because, let's expand this here, just because it's such a wide range. I don't really think there's too strong a vantage point. I drew kind of this channel triangle looking thing that's going on here, but really below 2180, I don't think the bears have too much of a case. And above, let's say, that 20 area, the bulls aren't going to be making any type of serious move, I don't think. So that's just what I'm looking at in volatility. And I think that's going to round us out. Again, it's really about the TPO look. So just to flash that one more time, as the bears make a move here. Yeah, just kind of watching our major levels. Again, upside 41.15 to 17, 41.35 to 45, and then as we move up toward, I think it'll be a pretty quick move up into that 55 to 65 zone. Downside 85. I think if we lose this 4100 and bears take us to a new low, so we'll see. Again, not particularly tradable setup on the bear side until we close below the morning's low. So we'll see what happens there. And I'll go to the warm-up document one more time just to talk about our levels, which you can see right here. So like I said, it is a bit of a difficult day. I'll be watching this TPO quite a bit. I'll change it if that becomes appropriate, because for now we're just kind of in that 15-point range and nothing much is going on. It looked like the bulls were going to have a nice little initiation upwards, and that's getting pretty much unraveled right now. So we'll see what happens there. So that's going to be all for today. I'm going to get the newsletter going, get that out by 11. I'll be on Twitch as normal at noon. I am going out of town for Easter, so on Monday I will be in the virtual puppet show office, so I'll be coming to you from there. And yeah, so please feel free to hit me up on Twitter at Routine Trader with any thoughts. Engagement, obviously, through the newsletter on this video is appreciated as well. So if you did enjoy today's content, also I would appreciate if you gave it a like to help with that YouTube algorithm. And in any and all cases, enjoy your weekends. If you're celebrating the lovely holiday, enjoy that, and stay classy until Monday.